Hello and welcome to Good Morning DRC TV. I'll bring you an up-to-date on what is happening in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo and in Congo as a general. It's been a couple of days rather. I haven't updated you on the situation on the eastern part in terms of the M23 group, rebel group that is, with the Congolese government. They were supposed to meet in Doha in just to negotiate, basically to bring about a resolution, or at least to resolve the issues going on in that part of the country. Up to date, today is the 16th April 25. What is the current situation? The current situation is this. The M23 is in Doha. The government delegation from Kinshasa is in Doha as well, but they haven't entered into a dialogue as yet. Why is this happening? But before I say what is going on there, what I want my viewers and listeners to understand is this. The current situation in Goma is still pretty tense. We have people in Goma that are being killed every day by the M23 group. The M23 group or rebel group or terrorist group is weakened at this moment in time. And if you recall one of the videos in which I spoke about Harry Jack Tanny, this businessman, billionaire in the DRC, who is actually working for Joseph Kabila, the man was arrested. One of the reasons why he was arrested is because he was supplying the M23 rebel group with all kind of things that they needed in order to carry out the massacre, the killing, and taking territories in the DRC. Since he's been arrested, it has weakened the M23 group because they haven't got supply. And remember, Jack Tanny has a logistics that moves arms, food, you name it, around the country where the rebels are. But it's been a while since they have not have all the necessary things they need in place in order to galvanize, to move about and take more territory and control. Also, because of this, the intentions of the international community to sanction Rwanda and Kagame, this has also weakened the M23 group. At this stage, the biggest thing that is weighing the whole thing down is the current deal that is taking place between the DRC and the US government in order this mineral deal that we talked about some time ago. The mineral deal is going ahead. Now, the US is still formulating the contract between the US and the DRC. They are working on a contract on this deal, but the US has shown interest and is really going to do this with the DRC. What that means is this. Bulos, who is the envoy that was sent in the greater region of Grand Lac, met Kagame, met Tshisekedi, Museveni, and Ruto. He made it clear to them, the whole lot, that the deal is going to go ahead. Now, each one of them had to understand their place. Now, put it this way, the US is going to boss it now. Everybody is going to have to retreat. They're going to have to leave that space for the US. Kagame is aware of it, Ruto, and so is Museveni. So that's basically where we stand at the moment. So while that deal is happening, the US know, and the other region that are involved in this know that there has to be a climate that is good enough for business to take place. This could not happen unless people stop what they're doing there. And like I said, the US is weighing on it. That means that that war is about to stop. But before it does stop, Kagame played his little trick. So what is done basically now, he wants to move that war, that conflict, to become a national conflict. So he wants to pull out of it. And the way to pull out of it is to bring back Joseph Kabila in the DRC so that he takes ownership of the M23 group and the AFC of Nanga. This is one of the reasons as to why Kabila is going back there so he can take ownership. But even Kabila going there, Kabila knows that the US is actually he's been warned by the US that he cannot do what he plans to do now. Now, you understand that, the US is a double-edged sword. It's not going to come in here because the US loves the Congolese. No, it's the interest that they're going after. So whoever offers or whoever gives them what they're looking for, that's the person they work with at the moment. I say it at the moment because it might change. At the moment, it looks like the Congolese government has made a good offer to the US, and they will rather partner with the legal government. They've been doing it behind closed doors in the past using Kagame, but now they can actually deal with the Congolese government directly. Okay, so right now there's still massacres taking place, there's still killing taking place, they're still doing looting, and all those things are happening, but not to the scale that it used to before. When it comes to sanctions and all that people have said or nations have said they'll do against Kagame, they have not yet acted on this. Why? Because France is taking stance against the DRC. France is taking stance against the DRC. You may wonder why. Now, France has a veto in the EU or the Security Council. As a member, it has a veto. What is happening now is that all the sanctions that the EU were actually formulating or intending to place on Rwanda is on pause at the moment at the request of France, because Macron is playing his role at the moment, because he and Kagame are in sync, lockstep. They're working together in order to achieve what they want. Remember that Rwanda is being used by France to protect its businesses in Mozambique. Total has a greater share of the oil and petrol in Mozambique, and it is the Rwandan army or the security forces that are taking care of that. And Rwanda positioned itself that it is used by France in order to do its dirty works in Africa. And what France did in 1994, it turning a blind eye to what was happening in Rwanda, France is doing the same, turning a blind eye to what is happening in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Terrible situation, but I'll talk more about this on another video. So what is happening in Doha? I don't want to make this too long. So in Doha, the talks are still going on between the M23 group and the delegates from Kinshasa. They haven't met. There are preconditions. So Doha in M23 group have laid down their conditions before they can sit down and talk. Those conditions, the delegates from the DRC are saying that they'll never submit to it, because as far as they're concerned, the M23 group is a terrorist group. As such, they cannot give in to their demands. What are the demands? One of the demands is that the M23 wants to have amnesty for all the crimes and everything that they've done in Goma, Bukavu, and other territories that they were in control of, because they've lost some as we speak. But the DRC government said there is no such thing as amnesty, and also the other thing they're asking for is the nationality to be recognized as Congolese. And on top of that, they want that all these militia groups or military guys, personnel, to be integrated in the regular army. And this is the mixing and the brewing that has taken place in the past that has weakened the army. But there was a law that was put in place 2 years ago in the Democratic Republic of Congo that no such thing will happen again. So this is blocking the aspect of things. So the Congolese government said they won't give in to this demand. And they also want the president Tshisekedi to say himself that he is getting into a dialogue with the M23 group. Because remember, President Tshisekedi made it clear, out and clear, that he was not going to engage in any dialogue with the M23 group. This, he said it multiple times. So now they're asking him, that is the M23 group, are asking President Tshisekedi to say it on the media that he is entering into a dialogue. So this is where matters stand at the moment. So they haven't moved forward yet. So today we'll find out what happens in Doha. But this is where the situation is. So there is nothing that is happening either between the M23 group and the delegation from Kinshasa. They haven't met. There's still preconditions to be met. The government in Kinshasa said they would not submit to it. They would not pay into them. And the M23 group said, we're not going to meet up if you don't do this. On the ground, they're still killing people. They're still looting. They're still doing all sorts of things. And the EU, the international community, is not sanctioning Rwanda, not as yet. They gave intentions. They said things that they were going to do, but they're just not following it through. But this has always been the case with the international community. They don't want to do it, but they will say all these things to make Congolese feel like something was happening. And when they lay down, they stop, obviously, all this noise and mobilizing themselves against the Congo. So it is a situation that is not new. The international community has always been there. Yet I've always said in my videos, what Kagame has been able to do in Congo, he's done it with the blessing of the international community. Let's put it that way and be clear. So Kagame did all of this because the international community allowed him to do it. But right now, we'll see how things obviously develop today, but everything hinges or hangs on what is happening with the M23 group. So Kabila said he was going to go back to Goma, or he was going to go back to the DRC via an eastern Goma or Bukavu, or even Kisangani, but he has not done that because he is now considered as a rebel. And his presence will destabilize things in that region, and the US has an eye on him. So a number of things are happening at the moment, but what you need to know is that people are still dying, massacred. Things are happening in the eastern part of Congo, and the EU at the moment is somewhat indecisive as far as I'm concerned, because they haven't made the decision. They've said things that will do, but they're not carrying through. But let's see how things develop with the deal with the US, because, as I said, the US will boss it and everyone will have to leave that space for the US. But we'll see how things develop. I'm not in favor of the US doing this because I know the people that will suffer the most will be Congolese people, because they're a two-edged sword. But yeah, just wanted to bring an update. I'll bring you an update as things develop throughout the day. I hope you have a wonderful day. Please, if you haven't subscribed, do subscribe, share this channel, get people to watch. And if you have any comments, please lay it down for me and give me topics of things you want me to touch on. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Many thanks. Bye-bye.